What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV. Back with another live stream today. We'll be talking about the latest goings off at Arsenal. Arsenal legend and icon Thierry Henry has been talking about Arsenal again and where he thinks where he thinks we're going to finish this season and what he believes is happening under manager Mikel Arteta at the moment. There's more news linking us with Raheem Sterling. I know most people think that's definitely not going to happen, but there are reports that Sterling said in an interview he's open to a move this summer and he wouldn't rule out going to another Premier League club. I don't really expect it to be Arsenal, but we'll look at it and discuss it. We'll also look at Mikel Arteta because for me, I think we're reaching a bit of a junction in Mikel Arteta's time at Arsenal where I think the club are going to have to look at the general situation if things don't improve shortly, because we are not playing good football at the moment. And you can't maintain that for so long. You know, it's all right when you're picking up results. People will accept poor performances if you're getting results. At the moment, we're not getting results and we're not getting performances. If you're a so-called big football club, you can't accept that. So we're going to look at that. And I want to look at a potential situation. Can Lacazette and Aubameyang play together in a 4-4-2 or some sort of formation, maybe 3-5-2, where we play with two strikers? We are not scoring goals. I saw in that 23 minutes at the end of the game when Lacazette and Aubameyang were together, it seemed a little bit better. Can we play two up front? Let me know. We'll go for it all today, people. And big up to Laca, who said, mate, today I made my master's degree. Party vibes. Congrats to you, bro. Well done. Enjoy yourself. All the hard work has paid off. DJ Dre said, are we even a big football club anymore? I mean, historically, but we don't act like it. That is the problem. Gumsy says, big up, Big C. Caught a bit of the PSG stream. That setup looked proper nice. Big up, bro. What was I doing? That was yesterday, wasn't it? I was doing the... what game did we do? Atletico Liverpool. I turned over for a little bit when Messi was taking the penalty and when Mbappe was missing his penalty, you know. Vitamin C settings. Big up, bro. Big up to La Copa, of course. Well done. And yeah, all right, let's get into it, people. Let's get into it. Thierry Henry, the legend of Arsenal. For me, the greatest player to ever play for Arsenal, by the way. Although a lot of people say Bergkamp, but I don't mind that conversation. They're in the picture behind me. Two of the best players to ever play in the Premier League. Two genius of footballers. And Thierry Henry now works for, I think it's CBS Sports in America. Or it's an American-based company, but he's obviously doing commentary and stuff like that of the Arsenal games and doing his pundit work. And he was asked about Arsenal and where he thinks Arsenal are going to finish this season. And he gave an answer that, you know, once again, a lot of the Arsenal fans get very agitated when Mikel Arteta is criticised. I don't know why. I do not know why. Some people really, really defend this guy to the hilt. And as you can see by Thierry, if ever they say a picture says 1,000 words, this is what Thierry thinks of Arsenal right now. And Thierry, I'm right there with you, bro. That's the face I make when I watch Arsenal at the moment. I put out a tweet last night. We did the watch-along yesterday to Atletico Madrid against Liverpool. 3-2 to Liverpool. Outstanding game of football. Champions League, you know. And I put out a tweet that as an Arsenal fan, I now watch games from other teams to enjoy football because I'm finding it very difficult to enjoy Arsenal play football. And like Gaurav's saying here, people going, 5 games unbeaten. I'm like, bro, we're 12th. We've just drawn back-to-back games with Brighton and Palace. Like, forget the 5-6 games unbeaten. This is the face Henry pulled when he was asked about Arsenal. And I know that feeling. It's like you just sucked on a sour lemon, bro. You know what I mean? That's the feeling we all have right now. And Thierry Henry was asked, as well as Micah Richards and as well as Jamie Carragher, do you believe Arsenal will be in Europe next season? Thierry Henry said, with what I am seeing at the moment, I do not believe Arsenal will be playing European football next season. Now, this has sparked more debate on social media. You know what it's like, people? Yeah, we spoke about it the other week. When he criticised Arteta, people were slandering him. How? How can you slander him? The guy's a pundit. He's, for me, the best player we've ever seen at the football club. He has every right to make these comments if that's what he genuinely believes, which I'm sure he does. And he's saying at the moment, he doesn't believe Arsenal will finish in Europe. Now, you have to bear in mind, we have finished outside of Europe for the last 2 years in terms of league position. We managed to get in Europe 2 seasons ago because we won the FA Cup. Last season, we weren't that fortunate. We didn't win a trophy and we missed out in Europe. Now, we're going to speak about Mikel Arteta and the side a little bit later, but I think he's got every right to make this judgment. I said at the start of the season, I believe Arsenal will finish 7th. That was my prediction. 7th gets you Europa Conference League football, which we know that's an embarrassment of a competition anyway. But a lot of people saying they think we'll finish even lower. South London's Finest said he's not wrong in my opinion, looking at our performances, 10th to 13th. So I quickly wanted to ask you all in the comments. Now that we've signed everyone who we've signed, what you've seen of Arsenal so far this season, we did do a prediction show at the start of the season before the window closed. Where do you think Arsenal are going to finish this season? From what you've seen so far, assuming Mikel Arteta continues, I predicted 7th. I would argue that we're maybe going to finish 8th or 9th from what I've seen so far. And what was crazy, a lot of people were saying, oh, we'll really benefit from not being in Europe. You know, oh, yeah, we'll love it not being in Europe, on the training ground all week. Well, no, Europe doesn't look like it's making much of an improvement to me. In fact, it might have made life easier because you can keep your squad players involved in games midweek. SU said, big up, Big C. I've not watched her live in a while. Congrats on the award. The only way is up. Thank you very much. Henry seems not to be a part of the ex-Arsenal player PR regime, and I love it because I get annoyed with a lot of these players that just say, oh, you know, everything's rosy in the garden because they've probably still got a contract with Arsenal in the media somewhere. George said, I said it the other day, obsolete ideas lead to obsolete results. Unless we change management, things will only get worse. I agree. Alan said, good afternoon, Curtis. Henry is 100% spot on. Let me put slow mode on, people. We've got a lot of comments coming in. Big up to all of you as usual. Make sure you like the video and subscribe. I will be doing the Man United Atlanta watch along tonight, 7:45. Come and join me for that as well. Jason said 10th at best. Omar said 7 or lower. I am the best, 8th again. That's me being optimistic. We can make top 6 with a good manager. I agree with that, says Brian, but the top manager is what we don't have. Sean LFC said 8th. Mishane said with Mikel 13th, without Mikel 6th. Jeez, man. Raul said 9th to 10th. No confidence from the fan base. Shashi 10th, Navari 11th, Martin 9th. Denzel says we're finishing around 10th. I mean, how has that become acceptable for Arsenal? Owen said between 8th and 12th with Arteta. Jake said, I don't understand how he gets a pass. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It makes no sense to me how he's getting a free ride. I don't, what's he got over these guys? Has he got dirt on the crankcase? I don't get it. 12th to 18th under Mikel. Robert said Arsenal should finish 5th, but Arteta will make sure to finish 8th. Sponsored by 888. 3 8ths in a row, man. Jeez. We'll be lucky to get in the top 10 at this rate. Arteta out, says One Love. The Vikings said Curtis Shaw TV as a Villarreal fan. They were in a similar situation. They had a coach without any experience and they underperformed. Arsenal are in the similar situation and they need to be ruthless. And they, of course, got Unai Emery, the guy that we got rid of. LS said, good morning, Curtis from San Diego. Big up, bro. Thank you for tuning in. And Gary said 11th, at least we'll finish top of the bottom half of the table. Oh, my day. I mean, Malcolm said, Curtis, it's the lack of ambition from the owners. But if we just put it into context, and I agree with you, I do think there's a serious lack of ambition. They spent 150 million in the summer. So why would you then not put an element of pressure on the manager and say, listen, you've spent more than anybody in the Premier League. I expect you to perform and do something. Why is he getting such a free pass? we're 12th in the table at the moment, you know. Mayhem said I wouldn't take Arteta over my Sunday League coach. Owen said Emery needed to go, but imagine how much higher up the table we would be if Emery got the money Arteta did. And listen, you make a great point, and you feed me in nicely here to my next point and my next picture that I want to share with you on the screen. Now, before I get into this, I want to make a point. I'm not saying for a second that we should have kept Unai Emery. I believe Unai Emery his time was up at Arsenal. But people, look at this picture. Now, this game was before Crystal Palace, by the way. So Mikel Arteta has now had 50 league games, right? 50 games. So he's had one game less than Unai Emery. Unai Emery's had 25 wins. Just to put it into context, Unai Emery got 88 points from 51 league games. This is only Premier League, 88 points. Mikel Arteta has 75 points from 50 games. It says 49 on the graphic, but this was before Palace, so he's had 50. So the best Mikel Arteta can get is 78 points from 51 games in charge, and that is a big if we beat Aston Villa. 43% win rate and a 33% win rate at the Emirates. We're winning 1 in 3 games at home, people. 1 in 3 games at home under Mikel Arteta. Now, as I said, people, I'm not going to say for 1 second that Unai Emery should have been kept in charge of Arsenal Football Club. The sad thing for Emery, I think, was the communication. And I think he lost the dressing room. Once you lose a dressing room, unless the board say, look, we're going to back you, get rid of 7 or 8 of these and back you, then more times the manager disappears. And Unai Emery was let go. Now, like Vikings saying here, I wouldn't say they were that bad, but Unai Emery had a worse squad than Mikel Arteta. There's no doubt about it. He was working with worse players than Mikel Arteta, yet he was getting more out of them than Mikel Arteta. Unai Emery's full season in charge, I went to nearly every home game that season, and I think 6 or 7 away games. Now, don't get me wrong, we bottled it at the end of the season. No doubt about it. We bottled it. But let me tell you, I enjoyed that season. Some of the football was individual brilliance FC, but I enjoyed that season. We scored goals. Aubameyang won the Golden Boot. Lacazette won Arsenal Player of the Season. Alex Iwobi was bought for 35 million. Torreira started the season like a house on fire. Leno looked decent. Monreal was solid. We looked like we were going somewhere under his management. Now, it kind of played itself out and we got rid of him. But how is Unai Emery, a now 4 times Europa League winner, he was sacked with Arsenal in 8th place, right? Which isn't good enough for Arsenal, but he was sacked with Arsenal in 8th place. His first transfer window, we spent £70 million on, I think, 5 players. We signed Leno, Socrates, Lichtsteiner, Guendouzi, Torreira. Leno will leave probably next summer. Socrates has gone. Guendouzi's pretty much gone. Torreira's pretty much gone. And Lichtsteiner's retired from football. That is a poor transfer window. They didn't back him when he first came in. He got to Europa League final and should have got top 4. We bottled it at the end. Mikel Arteta, with no managerial experience, has come in. He has spent over £200 million. 150 million in the previous transfer window. He said Edu is the guy he works with. In the next transfer window, Unai Emery asked for Harry Maguire, he asked for Fabinho or Thomas Partey, and he asked for Wilfried Zaha. They didn't get him Maguire, he went to United. Didn't get him Fabinho, he went to Liverpool. We didn't sign Partey that summer. And instead of Zaha, we got Pepe. They gave him David Luiz, Dani Ceballos, and Pepe. With him wanting Maguire, clearly he wanted a solid centre-back that was dominant in the air. With Fabinho and Partey, he wanted a powerhouse. With Zaha, he wanted a guy that could dribble. They didn't back him properly. Now, as I'm saying, Emery for me wasn't the right manager in the end. I think the communication got the better of him. But why have they chosen to back the guy with no experience, that hasn't achieved anything in his career, that the players don't look like they understand what they want him to do, or if they do, it's not working? How is it that Emery didn't get the backing from the board? Yet this guy, we're rolling out the red carpet for him. People are not even discussing whether he should be continuing in the job or not. I don't understand what the issue is. Is it because, as Tom said, is he a yes man and they're just happy to work together? There's no pressure from either one of them. He is failing in his job. Forget whether you like Mikel Arteta. Forget whether you don't like Mikel Arteta. He is failing as Arsenal manager. Back-to-back 8th place finishers. Poor football to watch. The attack is failing. And we are 12th in the Premier League. We've won 3 games. We're on -5 goal difference. We're stinking out the place. Apart from a good 45 against Tottenham, probably a good 20 against Norwich, I've seen absolutely nothing this season to make me think that he's going to turn things around. I just can't see it, people. I cannot see it. Why will they not turn on him? Why is there no pressure on him? Mid-table. They're spinning the PR on the fans so much that people aren't even questioning him. He's the luckiest manager in the Premier League, in my opinion, to be in the job. We're apparently the 3rd biggest club in English football after United and Liverpool. So why are our standards not high? 50 games, 21 wins. Emery got sacked. 51 games, 25 wins. 13 points better off than Mikel Arteta. Arteta's got one more game to get that to 10. This game was pre-Crystal Palace, so it's now 50 games. If we beat Villa, he ends up on 78 out of 51. Emery was on 88 out of 51. Emery was averaging 1.73 points per game. He's 1.5. 49% win rate for Emery. Sacked him. 43% for Arteta. No pressure. Makes no sense whatsoever. I've said many times, somebody said to me the other day, I had a bit of a debate with somebody on Twitter. I said something about Arteta and he said, yeah, but you haven't been saying Arteta out this season. I said, so have I been saying Arteta in? He was like, no. So I said, what you've got to understand, I'm at a realization that the board are not going to get rid of him. So it doesn't make sense me coming on every stream saying, get rid of Arteta, because it's energy wasted. But at the same time, every now and then I have to bring it up and say, why is there no pressure on his job? Why is he so arrogant in press conferences? Why is there no obvious style of football or working, functional style of football after nearly 2 years in the job? How does he get away with that? Big up to James with the super chat. He said, hi, Big C. What is your take on my Arsenal 11? I mean, wow, he's put Leno back in goal. He's gone Leno, Tavares, Ben White, Gabriel, Tomiyasu, Saka. So you're playing wing backs. Smith and Partey in the middle with Odegaard, Cam, with Pepe and Aubameyang up front. Interesting. What's that, like a 3-5-2? I wouldn't mind seeing us play 3-5-2. At the moment, I'm not sure Pepe would get in many teams. But a lot of people have been saying play Pepe up front. Big up James with a super chat. Gorav said, Tuchel in his early days came to training at 8 a.m. to set up training manually. Sometimes you need to lead by example to earn trust and respect as to why the players should trust you. The problem that Arteta has always had is there's no CV. Now, you imagine your working environment, people, and any job, whatever job you do out there, anybody in the chat, whether you work in an office, anywhere, imagine you as an experienced employee being led by somebody that has never done the job. Imagine an apprentice coming in to run your office or run your business. Until they earn your respect and show you that they're capable of doing that job, they will probably never have your respect because there's no CV, there's no history, there's no proof that they can do their job. And that, for me, is the problem with Mikel Arteta. I don't know if these players genuinely believe in what Mikel Arteta is doing. Maybe some of the younger ones, but the more experienced ones, I don't know. Mr. 142 said, who has Arteta improved at Arsenal? That's a good question, because I think Tierney looks worse. I think Pepe looks worse. I think Aubameyang looks worse. You can give him credit for Smith Rowe and Saka, I suppose, although I think Saka's trajectory was on that path anyway. But I can give him the credit for that. Otsile said Martinelli is watching his season go to waste under Arteta. Arteta out. It's another player that you have to look at and say, why is he not being given an opportunity? How come Eddie Nketiah got so many opportunities? Why are we playing Smith Rowe on the left instead of Martinelli, who actually plays there? But they never ask him this in the press conference. Big up, Latte. Hope you're well, bro. Said Curtis, it's on the stadium going fans. If the seats are empty, he will be sacked. Arteta out. The thing with Arsenal fans is that we're a very emotional bunch. And that during the pandemic, a lot of fans have been desperate to get back to watch their team, which is understandable. You know, it's a good day out. A lot of people love going to the games. And it's very hard. You've got to be really strong and about it to have a ticket and just leave it empty, you know? And it takes togetherness for that to happen. And at the moment, we don't have that kind of togetherness in the fan base. If we had that, then maybe we would have a chance. And Brian said Ten Hag is the perfect manager for us. I mean, do you know what, Brian? I watched the highlights. I think it was yesterday, wasn't it? Didn't they beat Dortmund 4-0? And I watched the football that Ajax are playing. They've got some young players, a few experienced players. And I'm just like, this Ten Hag, I would love to get him to Arsenal, seriously. It would be difficult to get now. I think at the end of the season, we would have a chance. But yeah, Ten Hag, definitely. AA Thief said, Curtis, after watching Sterling yesterday, I'm not convinced. I mean, listen, I think he's proved himself over the years. Danny said, no, Ten Hag staying with us. Ajax, I think he'll move eventually, but maybe would the Arsenal job appeal to him? Skinny said, Steve Bruce sacked. They have more ambition than us. That's it. New owners with ambition, with money. Steve Bruce, they're not going to put up with him. Maybe the biggest problem with us is the owners. Amir said, Emery is a way better coach than Arteta, let's be honest. Levels above him, levels. South London's finally said, Wenger started brainwashing the fan base into believing in different processes from the English core, etc. If you look, the most fans that back Arteta are the fans that grew up with him. It's a good point. Some of the younger fan base, they would have watched Arsenal growing up when Arteta was maybe our captain, so maybe they feel a little more attached to him. I don't have no attachment to him. I didn't particularly like him as a player, and I even more don't like him as a manager. Amsterdam, Thailand said, watch the stream back from yesterday. Great stream, and thank you for answering my comments about a potential Ajax watch-along. I understand more people want to see Liverpool. Great stream. Yeah, we'll do one eventually, bro. Definitely, I'll do one. Big up, I just work here. He said he's worthy of a sacking after Villa, whether we win, lose, or draw. He doesn't love Arsenal. All he cares about is the status position and his ego. I mean, listen, I can't say he doesn't love Arsenal, but I do think he loves to have his, you know, his ego massaged. You know, he seems to have a lot of arrogance, and I don't know where the arrogance comes from. You tend to have that arrogance when you've achieved great things. When Mourinho talks, he speaks with arrogance because his CV is ridiculous. Pep, you know, these guys have achieved great things, and I don't get it with it. Big up to I Just Work here with the support. Rico said Mikel Arteta will be coaching Mallorca in the 2022-23 season. I mean, I wouldn't mind that, although I would feel sorry for Mallorca fans, I'm telling you. Clinton said Big C, Arteta and Moyes got their jobs at the same time. Moyes has finished above us both seasons with a lesser squad. Absolutely bang on the money with that. Would any Arsenal fan swap this Arsenal squad for West Ham's? Let's be honest. Our team probably cost treble theirs. David Moyes, you know, most Arsenal fans wouldn't want David Moyes as manager. How come he is able to produce more out of West Ham? West Ham are in Europe, you know, playing decent football. Fans are back on side. And this is what I'm saying, people. West Ham fans were trying to physically attack the owners of West Ham Football Club. That's how unhappy they were with their owners. because they've brought a decent manager in who's probably performing better than I expected and got a good coaching staff and brought belief and a style of football, they're able to perform, which is why I've said many times, I want Stan Kroenke out of Arsenal, right? I want him out. I did a show last week explaining why I want him out. It was heated. It was brilliant. Great debate. But I think Mikel Arteta is a bigger problem now in the here and now than Stan Kroenke. Overall, Kroenke is the biggest problem. But we know that might take a year, 2 years, 3 years to fix. Mikel Arteta can go right now. They can get rid of him today if they want to. You get the right manager in, even with an ownership that is not perfect, you can still achieve great things. A lot of Liverpool fans have complained about their owners and the lack of investment, but with a great director of football like Michael Edwards and a great manager like Klopp, they have won things. They have done great things. The biggest problem at Arsenal for me, first and foremost, is the manager. Second of all, it is the owner and the technical director in Edu, who to me looks out of his depth. Clement, big up to you, bro. Said Arteta hasn't improved anyone at Arsenal besides Saka and ESR. Henry is 100% right that Arsenal will struggle to make Europa League. And yes, Aubameyang and Lacazette can play in a two. Big up, Clement. I see you've read the title well. I like your answers to the questions. And yeah, listen, I think Henry, everything he said was spot on. James, thank you for the super chat, bro. Said people are deluded. How do you compare Emery, a proven Europa League winner, to Arteta, a proven water boy? Our standards are so low. I mean, listen, I purely brought this up, just because they were the last two managers. I know what you're saying. I think most people are aware in the comments that Emery is a far better manager than Mikel Arteta. Penalty spot. Big up to you, bro. Said if you need to micromanage from the touchline, then your players don't understand your tactics. That's plain to see. Do you know what? I actually saw somebody talking about this. I think it was on BT Sport. And they were talking about Mikel Arteta, how he's so animated during the games. And I actually think that's a bad thing, because I agree with what you're saying here. If a manager's instructions are clear, I don't think they need to say too much to you during the game. I think they're able to, give out a few instructions here and there. But he's constantly barking out orders every minute. I think if you've had 5 days on the training ground to make clear, this is the game plan, this is how we're going to set up, this is what I want you to do, I don't think you need to constantly bark out orders and tell the players, what to do all game. They're not kids at the end of the day. Yark said Vieira transformed Palace. Roy's Palace were defensive. And listen, Patrick Vieira has changed their style of football in 2.5 months. Our manager's been here nearly 2 years, and we're still watching the games going, what are we watching? What are we actually watching? Whether you love Arteta, whether you don't love Arteta, if you're a fan of Arsenal, you cannot be enjoying what we're seeing at the moment. The fans deserve better. The players need better. The club deserves better. Why are they sticking with him? This is the question I would love to ask. Why does it feel like he's under no pressure? Edu as well. Edu deserves to be called out as well. These signings, this 150, has it improved the team, people? I'm not saying that the players that we've signed are bad players. But have they answered the questions? How have we spent 150 million and we're still saying, wow, we've got a big problem in midfield. If Thomas Partey don't play, it's a crisis. You shouldn't leave yourself in that position. Big up Sheets of Metal. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Said, hello, big bro. We are playing like skin grafts on a Navy biscuit. I'm tired of this narrative. I need a drink. There's no excuses for him now. There really isn't. Big up to you, bro, with the super chat. Rowan said he tries to copy Pep. And listen, there's only one Pep, so he needs to find his own philosophy. Kroenke is most definitely the problem at Arsenal, which if the fans are serious about this club, who hold more rallies and not go to games for him to sell the club. And Clement, the problem is we are not collective as a fan base. To get an owner out of a football club, you have to be seriously together as a fan base and a real unit. And unfortunately, I think since Arsene Wenger, there's been a huge divide in the fan base and it hasn't healed. Those wounds have not healed. Big up to SB with a super chat. He said, not me. I'm 19. I haven't seen Arsenal win a major trophy. I was born in the year Arsenal did the double. This manager can't do it. He's getting let off too easily. Says a lot about Arsenal. 100%, 100%. You know, it's strange the lack of pressure that he's under. I don't quite understand how he's getting so little pressure on him at the end of the day. But big up with the super chat. Rico said you're only going to get a new football director in the summer. Not enough good candidates at the moment. Yeah, they'll stick with Edu till the end of the season, in my opinion. Pete said Jack Daniels keeps me sane watching Arsenal. Oh, man. That's some hard drink as well. Tucky said keep Saliba and Guendouzi. Spend 50 million on Basuma, not Ben White. I think we are then stronger. I mean, listen, no one's getting Basuma now. He's probably in Wormwood Scrubs right now. But listen, I hear you. And do you know what? That's something we're going to talk about. I didn't put this in the title, but this is one of the subjects that I'm kind of looking at. Is like, you look at the summer, and I look at this Arsenal midfield right now, and this is one of the subjects we were going to talk about. So I'll bring it up now, and it's, can Lacazette and Aubameyang play together in a two? We clearly have a problem at the moment with goals. And I think at the moment, Lacazette is earning the right to play in this team. But Aubameyang has scored 3 in his last 3 home games. I think in the last 7 games, Aubameyang's got 7 goals or assists. So he is getting numbers without necessarily playing great at the moment. Now, maybe I've got this wrong, and maybe it needs to be 3-5-2. Maybe that's the easier way to make this happen with 2 up front. I've just put a quite simple, can Arsenal play 4-4-2? Is there a way that we can fit those 2 into the team? And I mean without playing Aubameyang on the left-hand side. Darren said Lacazette to play in the 10 off Aubameyang. Could we do that? 4-4-2 will help Partey in midfield. The Emery days, 2 up front. And I'm telling you, I saw that many times that season. 2 strikers. Teams couldn't handle us because what you've got to understand, because 4-4-2 is kind of out of fashion now, it gives centre-backs an easy ride because they get to mark one striker with 2 centre-backs, which can be easy at times. But you're basically one-on-one with their 2 centre-backs. I watched Atletico Madrid last night. Now, I know they lost the game to Liverpool, but at 2-2, they were becoming the dominant force in that game. And I think they would have troubled Liverpool if Griezmann wasn't sent off playing 4-4-2. Leicester won the title playing 4-4-2. Is there any way? I just think Arsenal need to do something different, mix it up a bit. You know, go against Aston Villa and play 2 up front. Like someone saying there, Lacazette drops deep anyway. He becomes almost a number 10 when we don't have the ball anyway. Darren said this has got York and Cole vibes. 4-3-3 with Martinelli. 3-5-2 will only work with Conte in charge. I'm not sure we've got 2 great wing backs at the moment. That's the only reason I put 4-4-2 rather than 3-5-2. Could we play it, people? Could we play it? MD said Leno's better than Ramsdale. It's funny. A few people are criticising Ramsdale for that second goal. South London's finest. I hear you on that. I do hear you on that. 4-4-2 means your midfield pivot have to be at it, and I mean at it. Do we have a good enough midfield? It also stops you from playing with a number 10, which means you can possibly have to have Smith Rowe and Odegaard on the bench. Big up Don Drape. Hope you're well, bro. Said big up Big C and congratulations for your prize, my friend. Big up to you. Thank you for your regular support on the channel. Keep up your great work with your excellent Twitter account. Solomon said AFTV tactics, Curtis and Broad's business. I'm telling you, man, 4-4-2 can work. Lee said I'd play 3-5-2. Tierney at left centre back, Nuno and Tommy at wing back. You know what? Let's have a little look. Let's have a look. See, first of all, if I'm going 4-4-2, let me just draw a team up here quickly. If AirPod Albert watches this, I want 10% if we win. Let's get Benjamin Billy White in there. If he stopped moonwalking all over the Emirates. Tomiyasu. The only problem with Tomiyasu, wing back, he doesn't get forward. I'm not even sure if he would be our best right wing back. I think maybe Ainsley would be a better wing back than him. The couple of problems you're going to have here, people, is number one, who do you play in midfield next to Thomas Partey? And then who do you play out wide? Do you play Saka, Martinelli? Do you play Saka and Pepe? Is Pepe going to have the work for a 4-4-2 as well? These are your only problems. Nuno and Ainsley wing backs. I think that could work. I do think that could work. Tomiyasu can't play wing back, in my opinion. He doesn't look comfortable going forward. People saying El Neni, geez. The thing is, at least El Neni provides the work rate and stability. It's not pretty to look at. Let me tell you that. It's not pretty to look at all. But at least you've got that pure energy and work rate next to him. I actually think El Neni might play on Friday. Because I just think we're lacking balance in midfield at the moment. Saka and Martinelli. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to go Saka and Martinelli or Saka and Pepe. Saka would definitely be in on the right. I think he's better there. And at the moment, things aren't working with Pepe. So you got to give Martinelli a try, in my opinion. I would love to see him turn up with this. But he will never do it. He hasn't got that about him. He hasn't got the cojones, as Troy Deeney says, to turn up with that. I think that could work. I think that would damage teams. They'd be shocked. 4-4-2. Back to basics. People think it can't work. It can. Think about 15 years ago. Everybody played 4-4-2. It changed with Barcelona. It changed with Chelsea. Jose started playing free in midfield at Chelsea, dominating midfields. Everyone changed. Barcelona were playing keep ball. Now, the only thing with this, Saka might be injured. So if Saka was injured, you'd swap him with Pepe. I think Gabriel Martinelli deserves a start now. I'm sick of seeing this kid on the bench. He's got way too much talent to be sitting on the bench, you know. The other way we could go, like we said, people, few of you have said, could we play 3-5-2? Which is another formation. Let me just... All right, so Partey would be out. Let's just move this around a little bit so I can figure this out. So Ben White would be at the back. Although Tomiyasu could be in defense. That's the only problem. If you play 3-5-2, how would you fit your wingers in? Kind of pull, because they're playing almost wing backs. All right, I reckon you could play Saka. Saka's going to have to be in the team. That's the only problem. I'm just trying to look how we could fit this in. Your back three would be... Do you play Tierney or Tomiyasu? I think you would play Tomiyasu. Probably Ben White. You ain't going to leave out a £50 million player. And then play Gabriel on the left. Then Tierney gets dropped. Yeah, Tierney can get dropped. He ain't been doing anything anyway. The only problem you got is the wing backs. You've really got to play Ainsley and May. You could probably play Saka, because there's no way they're going to leave Saka out. So if you go Ainsley at right wing back and you go Saka at left wing back, let me have a look at this. And then you go Smith Rowe in the 10. Could that work? What do you reckon about that one, people? And Ramsdale in goal. I'm trying to figure Arteta's problems out for him here. Do you think that's better or the 4-4-2? What are you saying? People saying put Tierney left wing back. I just don't like Tierney going forward. Don't like it. Come on, people enjoy. Yo, come on. Oh, Nuno. Could have played Nuno. Nuno left and Saka on the right, possibly. Yeah, either one. Yeah, maybe with that. Maybe we could have played Saka where Ainsley is and played Nuno on the left. That possibly could work as well. Because I think Nuno Tavares got something about him. And to be fair, Ainsley defensively. So let's have a look at that. See how this looks. And the dog man, Nuno Tavares. Yeah, maybe we could try that. Listen, there's options there. But he will never play this. He's not about that life, man. He's really not about that life. I'm trying to solve the man's problems here for him. Give him another 6 months in the job. Mikel Arteta, anyone at Arsenal, if you're listening, I'm trying to save your job for you here. Jogbinho said Pepe, 96 matches, 25 goals and 19 assists, but he's a flop. So you're defending him. You rate that. Listen, the numbers are not dreadful, considering those 96 matches. I think I'm sure I saw that 40 something of them were off the bench. So his numbers are not bad. It's the performance. It's the eye test, my friend. Pepe is not performing at a high enough standard at the moment, and I think that's clear to see. We watched him the other day, and it's not even just the other day. I'm massively underwhelmed by Nicolas Pepe at the moment. He shows little glimpses of quality, but that's not enough, I'm afraid. Not when you've spent £72 million. So listen, the stats aren't horrendous, but the performances are not consistent enough. Tell me the last time Pepe ruined a fullback. I can't remember it. You used to always ruin Luke Shaw. I can't remember too many fullbacks getting ripped apart by him. Over 1.3k watching, people. Can we get 1,000 likes? And make sure you subscribe to the channel. I will be back at 7:45 for Man United against Atlanta watch along, and obviously tomorrow again at 2 p.m. I'll be back with your latest Arsenal update. Kerr said, Curtis, big ups from Jamaica. I'm here listening, but don't have much to say. Just tired of Arsenal. Listen, we all are under this manager, man. Clement said, right now I'm dropping Tierney and bring in Tavares at right back. Or Tavares at left back, I'm assuming you mean. Listen, I think Tavares deserves an opportunity. I really do. I don't think Tierney is playing well at the moment. Mamadou said sell Pepe and bring in Saar from West. No, who's he at? Watford. I like Rafinha at Leeds. I really like him, but he would be very, very expensive. You probably got to drop 70 million again. That's the problem. And how much would you even get for Pepe if you moved him on? I think we'd be lucky to get half of what we've paid for him. And I mean lucky as well. Amsterdam, Thailand said Iwobi is better than Pepe. I mean, I would say I was never a big fan of Iwobi. I thought we did incredible business getting 35 million for him. I think Pepe is a better player, but he's not performing at any kind of much higher level. I do think Pepe is better than Iwobi. I can't lie. Pepe is inconsistent. He can't take people on, said Israel. Big up Jonathan Ampwe with the super chat. He said, I genuinely believe this guy has so much ego. If he gets sacked, he will not get another manager's job. Not because no one will want him, but the teams who will he believe he is better than. I hear you on that. He will think that he's going to get some sort of top quality job if he leaves Arsenal. And let's be honest, I don't see anyone in the Prem who is going to rush to give Mikel Arteta a job. And if it is, you're talking relegation battle levels, Big up to Jonathan with the super chat. Lord Lake says Pepe FA Cup v Man City. Ripped up Mendy in that game. But when was that? That wasn't even last season, Drogbino, big up bro, said this was the same thing with Mo Salah at Chelsea, not getting consistent starts. The thing is Salah and Pepe, man. Pepe has had 3. This is his 3rd season to prove himself. Salah really didn't get time at Chelsea. Pepe has had enough time on the pitch to show what he's about. He does sometimes get unfairly dropped, but I do still believe he's had a lot of time. Listen, he'll be at the club till the end of the season at least. We need to see what we can get out of him, but I just think this manager needs to try and figure out a different way for the whole attack, which is why I wanted to look at the formations. And is there a different way that we can operate? Because, and I do agree with this, Pepe is a forward, not a winger, a striker, not a midfielder. Gunners are showing they don't understand. Listen, he played right forward for Lille. Tucked inside between the fullback and the left-sided centre-back. Those were his spaces that he attacked. At Arsenal, he's probably 20 yards wider, hugging the touchline, and probably 15 yards further back. So we're playing him as a right midfielder, like Beckham used to play, hugging the touchline, 10, 15 yards ahead of the right back. You will not get the best out of Nicolas Pepe if that's how you want him to operate. He is a right forward. He scores goals. He likes to run. He likes through balls. He's not getting that at Arsenal. So I don't think Pepe is being used correctly. I also think Pepe is very inconsistent and not performing to a high enough level. I think the balance is between the two. What I will say, I would love to see Pepe under a different manager, a more attacking manager, to see where that would take him. Fact of the day, says Darren, Zidane won his 8th managerial trophy before his 7th managerial defeat. Madness. I've had so many debates during watch-alongs about Zidane, saying that if Arteta went, that I would take Zidane. And people, for some reason, some people don't rate Zidane. They kind of feel like, well, he only won those trophies because he had prime Ronaldo. But I think Zidane is a top quality manager. I really do. Marvu's here trolling again, as usual. Oh, dear me. Matthew said Curtis is a top man. Big up to you. Big up to everyone in the community. Hope you're well today. Casualties of Arteta. Listen, for anyone that follows me on Twitter, Curtis Shaw 9, number 9 after Curtis Shaw. Follow me on there. I'm always debating on there. And every time Man United drop points, I say, it's that Ollie tax, people. It's that Ollie tax. Some Man United fans go mad, but they do understand. It's true. Now, I believe now we're paying Arteta tax, and it's heavy, man. This is emergency tax, people. Man said this guy's been putting that comment up for a week now. Hey, he's persistent, man. I'll give him that. That Arteta tax, mate, it's a real thing. Emergency tax straight out of your wages. And at the moment, we can't afford that. Bill's getting out of hand. 11 Drogbinho said, I'm here to defend Pepe. I think he's our best player. And with the right manager, he can be as good as Salah. Ooh. Ooh, hey, calm down. Listen, I suppose at the time when Salah came back to Liverpool, if you said he can be as good as Alexis, he can be as good as Eden Hazard, you would have said, whoa, calm down, relax. Now he's gone beyond the level of Hazard and those guys. I won't say Alexis because I loved Alexis at Arsenal. So maybe Pepe can, but I just think Pepe lacks that hunger and aggression. I think the difference with your Salahs, your Manes, those wingers, when they get the ball, they give off that feeling that they are trying to rip the fullback to shreds. With Pepe, I don't see that. I think that's a major problem in his game, is the lack of aggression. However, one thing I will say is that he's definitely capable of more than we're seeing under this manager. You know what I mean? Listen, I don't want anybody to think that I believe Pepe is a bad player. I really don't think so. I think Pepe has a lot of talent, but he's nowhere near performing to the level that we hoped and expected when we signed him. Let's face it, a lot of people hadn't seen that much of Pepe. When you went on YouTube and looked at his highlight clips, he was running quick, lovely finishers, great celebrations. You know, we haven't seen quite the same player, but maybe the money and the lifestyle has got the better of him, people. You know, he's come over here, got that big contract, living in London. He looks drippy on Insta, you know, big Gucci headbands and that. Maybe the money. I don't know. But he lost the ball 22 times against Crystal Palace. That is not acceptable. You know, he has to do way more than that. And Drogbinho, they're onto you in the comments, bro. I'm saying don't ever compare Pepe to Mo Salah. And Marvu says Drogbinho is trolling. But listen, I could see him going to a different club and doing well. Maybe the Premier League doesn't suit him as well. And listen, yeah, you're right. He does deserve some credit because he played a part in both goals the other day. His shot leads to Aubameyang's goal. His cross leads to Lacazette's goal. He deserves a little bit of credit for that. But I hear you. We do need more. Bitcoin is going through the roof. Hey, man, it's a good time in the crypto world, man. But you never know with this, do you? The ups and downs of it, you know? Enjoy it while you can. Over 1.4 of you watching, people. Make sure you subscribe. Can we hit 1,000 likes? And we're on the road to 40K. We're not far off now, people. Sheets of Metal, big up with a super chat. Appreciate your support. Said, mark my word, Pepe will go to Liverpool. Clip this. Listen, I know Liverpool tried to buy him before we bought him. I can't see him going there now. I saw they were being linked with Rafinha from Leeds. So maybe that one. Matthew said, Curtis, go on, overlap. Ty is talking enough to drive anyone mad. Big up, Ty. Ty went viral yesterday for anyone that didn't see that clip. That clip there, man. That clip there. The guy has stitched him up, but yo, the reaction from Ty, that is comedy gold, man. Big up to Ty, man. He's doing good things in the world of Sky Sports, you know. Can West Indies win the 2020 Cricket World Cup? Hey, let's hope so. I don't know if Chris Gale still plays anymore. Alexis was fed by Santi and Ozil and had Monreal on the outside under Wenger. Pepe has been destroyed like most of the attackers by this so-called manager. You make a good point, but I think the only thing I would say is Alexis, the hunger was just bursting out of him. Every time you watched him play, it was like, wow, this guy's so desperate to win. I don't see that kind of hunger and determination with Pepe. I really don't. I can't compare him to to Alexis. Alexis is just different. Big up, John. I hope you're well, my bro. Said the Liverpool fan, Alex, said that an Arsenal fan said that Salah is better than Henry. That made me spit out my room. Nah, they've got to be trolling. That's got to be a Liverpool fan saying that. Any Arsenal fan that's saying that, I don't know. Maybe they're just looking for a reaction. There's no world in the whole solar system that Mo Salah is better than Thierry Henry. I wouldn't even compare them. I wouldn't even entertain that comparison. But big up to you, John, Mr. Denilson. There will be a day just for banter. I will put Denilson on the green screen. He is part of the History Channel settings. Just looking ahead, and I know we've had this discussion a number of times. And listen, we'll rubbish this report straight away, but I'm going to talk about it just in case it ever happens, people. According to reports, Arsenal are currently monitoring Raheem Sterling's situation at Manchester City. It's thought Mikel Arteta would be keen to bring the Englishman to the Emirates if a move becomes available. Would you like to see Raheem Sterling at the Emirates? Now, as you're all thinking, and I can see it, you don't even have to write the comments. I can see what you're all thinking. What, Raheem? Oh, stop it, man. Why would Sterling come to Arsenal? I'm with you. I'm in the same category. I don't believe it will happen. I always report it. Then I give you my opinion on it, right? So I don't believe this move will happen. Raheem Sterling did an interview at the start of this week where he said if he is not given regular football this season, he will consider a move at the end of the season, with it being a World Cup year next year. He also said he would not rule out joining another club in the Premier League, although he did say he would be interested in playing abroad. Now, by the basis of elimination, if he's willing to stay in the Premier League, he's at Manchester City. City wouldn't sell him to United, no chance. They don't need a winger anyway. Would he go back to Liverpool? I think he could go back to Liverpool, but I just don't think Liverpool would buy him back. He would cost 60, 70 million. His wages are massive as well. He's on 250 a week. Liverpool is possible. Chelsea, would City sell him to Chelsea? They're direct rivals with Liverpool, City and Chelsea. Possibly. Tottenham, I don't think he would go to Tottenham. So I'm kind of here going, well, by the process of elimination, would he consider Arsenal? He's a North London boy, or he's from Northwest London. You know what? Tucky's right. Maybe he could go to Newcastle, because they would absolutely weigh him in as well. They would give him an absolutely huge wage. The fact that Sterling, apparently, as they say, Arteta was a massive influence on Sterling's improvement at Manchester City. Would he respect him enough? I don't see it happening for a second. If he rates Arteta, he would join. I mean, listen, let's just say in his head, just for the sake of a debate, let's just say he rates Arteta as a top-level coach. Maybe Arteta was a great coach at Manchester City because he wasn't under pressure and Pep was pulling the strings. Let's just say he looks at him and thinks, listen, great coach, North London, Arsenal, bigger club than Tottenham. Chelsea don't really go for him. Liverpool don't really want him back. United, they wouldn't sell him. Just by the process of elimination, would there be an opportunity? I don't think it will happen. I would imagine if Mikel Arteta was still the manager, though, that he would want to sign him because he's 26, 27, English, knows the league, scores goals. Could we see a situation where Pepe goes and Raheem Sterling comes in? It's very, very unlikely. I think he will want to play Champions League football. This is a guy that's just been in a Champions League final, won loads of trophies. Maybe if Arsenal are back in Europe and they win a domestic cup, I don't know. It's unlikely, but I just wanted to discuss it and get your opinions on it, people. Kasim said it's a shame that Arsenal consider games like Burnley, Palace, Brighton to be a tough game than facing City and Liverpool. This is where we're at right now, bro. These mid-table games are tough games for Arsenal because, let's face it, people, we are basically a mid-table team right now, unfortunately. Fun Station said, I will take Raheem all day long. He will go Bayern, said Beyonce Wilder. I think he's being linked with Barcelona. Terrell Wood said, if Pep can't get the best out of Sterling this season, how am I thinking Arteta will? Listen, I think with Pep, he's just decided to go in another direction. They spent 100 million on Grealish. he was always going to get game time. So, I think that's more. One Love World says Big C. Big up to you. Big up to everyone in the chat. It's a shorter show today. Thank you for your brilliant support and interaction as always. We've just hit 55 minutes. I'm about to wrap up the show now. I will be back tonight, 7:45, Manchester United against Atlanta, for anybody that wants to see a nice stress-free watch along. A much more laid-back Curtis Shaw TV than the one when I'm watching Arsenal. I will be back tomorrow with more Arsenal content. We'll be previewing the game tomorrow. Obviously, we play against Aston Villa on Friday, so lots of content to come. Man United v Atlanta tonight, Arsenal tomorrow at 2. And then on Friday, we've got the Arsenal against Aston Villa watch-along. Over the weekend, I'll be doing watch-alongs as well. I'm probably going to do Marseille against PSG on Sunday night as well, people. And we'll have a look at Guendouzi and Saliba against Messi, Mbappe and Neymar. Big up to Matt, said, hi, Curtis, big fan from Singapore. I agree with whatever you say and like the way you stay true to yourself. You speak facts. That's what I like about your channel. No BS. Listen, people, like I always say, you don't have to agree with everything I say. We'll just have an open discussion about it, 1,400 of you in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. Smash a like on the way out and subscribe. And I will see you later on, people. Bless.